Hi all. So today's video is about the 10 safe principles, the 10 scaled agile principles. So we will understand as part of this video what are those 10 principles. Uh, we will understand each of the principle in detail, and also in the end we will use 10C, a combination of 10 C's to understand these 10 safe principles. So let us start. So, what are the 10 principles in scaled agile? So, these are the list of 10 safe principles. So, very first one is take an economic view. Second one is apply systems thinking. Third one is assume variability, possibility of changes, preserving options. Fourth one is build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycles. Fifth one is base milestones on objective evaluation of working systems. Sixth principle is making value flow without interruptions. Seventh principle is apply cadence, synchronize with cross domain planning. Eighth principle is unlock the intrinsic motivation of knowledge workers. Ninth principle is about decentralizing decision making. And last one is organize around value. So now if we look at each of these principles and let's try to understand it. So the very first principle is taking an economic view. So that means if you see the right side picture, considering the economic impact, considering the cost, considering the economics as basis of our decision making. So that means, what is the business value? What is the return on investment whenever we are trying to develop a new product, new feature, or we are trying to introduce a change in the existing application? So have we considered the business value? Have we considered the return on investment? Have we performed the cost benefit analysis? Is it going to be economical, this particular feature, new change, the product, or application enhancement? So we have to prioritize what gives the best return on investment. So this is the first principle, considering the economics as basis for our decision making. Now let's move to the second one. So second principle is all about applying the system thinking. So that means considering system as a whole. I mean, we do not need to just optimize a part. We have to consider the optimizing the complete system, the whole system, understanding how changes in one part may impact the others, seeing the bigger picture, looking at the entire value stream. And this pictorial is an example of system thinking approach. So let's say when a car comes for a service and it has some problem. So even if we have found a small problem in one particular part, should we just rely on that particular solution, or should we treat car as a complete system and perform its all list of health checks and all parameters, whether it's working fine or not? So I think a good approach will be to consider car as a system and considering the different aspects of it, and this is how we can use systems thinking in a car service. So it's not just about the service, it's also the customer is also part of the system, and who is treating the customer. So this whole experience, and also whenever we are applying any solution or any fixes to the car, it has to be the holistic one. Third one is about assuming variability and preserving options. So that means do not fix on one solution too early, keeping the options open until we have more information. Or we can say that earlier in the life cycle, we do not lock into one solution. So it's not like, we are trying to build a large product and we have finalized the design in the beginning. So that means, everything, any problem needs to be seen in that particular design aspect only, right? So we will have to keep the design are flexible. We will have to keep the options open unless until we have tried out, unless until we have some learnings. So keeping the multiple options open until we have enough information like data, learning, or feedback to converge on the best option. So what is the best alternative for us? And this can also be taken from one example. If we see the cricket, I mean, in T20 cricket, there is a concept of impact player. So no team finalize the impact player in the beginning. It all depends upon the situation. It also depends upon kind of conditions our team is in, that impact player is decided. So it's not finalized in the beginning. And this is kind of a flow chart where we have to make a decision. So should we go with this option or should we go with this option? So we have to preserve our options. If we have finalized everything in the beginning, we will not have that flexibility. So that's the idea about assuming variability and preserving options. Fourth principle is about build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycle. So that means we have to build in small increments, and once we have done the build, we also have to integrate end-to-end solution and test it whether it's working or not working. I mean, sometimes it may happen that a team has developed, but it's not been integrated with the other team. So that the work or the complete end-to-end feature needs to be integrated. Delivering value in increments, having continuous improvements and learning cycles, inspect and adapt approach for development, and continuous sustained development is the key. So, how we are working consistently in small increments, or whether we are able to deliver the value consistently to the end users. Fifth principle is about base milestones on objective evaluation of working system. So in a traditional process, what used to happen was, so we used to have the phases. So the requirement was one phase, and the output of that phase was one of the milestone that requirement is signed off. Similarly, for the design, one of the milestone was design is signed off. But when it comes to the scale agile or most of the agile principles, the idea is that we measure the progress by actual completed feature or working software, not just by relying on the reports or any dates which have been met. So demoing or testing the real application to understand the progress and learnings, that's the key. And milestones should align with the real value delivery. So we have to understand that, okay, what is the feature that has been developed? I mean, can that feature be a demo to the end users? Or if there is a small release which has happened, how the users are responding to that release. So that working system is always the key of deciding whether we have reached our milestones or not. Sixth principle is all about making the value flow without interruptions. So if you look at this particular picture, like if customer orders something until it is delivered, so how is the experience? Not just in one step, in the complete cycle till the order has been initiated till has been delivered. So ensuring that the flow is without any delays, ensure that work moves smoothly from ideation to delivery without any unnecessary delays, blockers, bottlenecks, or waiting times. So work, do less at one time, making the task smaller and avoid long waiting. Working in the small batches, a small size of work packets, and keeping the value flow without any blockers, keeping the value flow uninterrupted. So that is the key. I mean, how is the flow or the value flow in our system, and whether the value is able to flow without any interruptions, or if we have any bottlenecks. I mean, let's consider an example of a team has developed a feature, but it is waiting for to be tested by the other team. So that's a blocker, that's a interruption in our flow. So as soon as the team is done, it should be able to get tested by the another team or another QA member. So this is the idea. And seventh principle is about applying the cadence synchronized with cross-domain planning. So whenever we are working on a large enterprise product, is like multiple teams working on the same product line, it's important that they work in sync. That means all teams work in a synchronized in sprints. Every team starts and ends their sprint on the same day, so that they are able to plan. They are together. They are able to showcase their dependencies, highlight their dependencies, and perform an end-to-end testing collectively. Eighth principle is about the knowledge workers, the team members. So unlocking the intrinsic motivation of knowledge workers. That means creating an environment, fostering an environment of trust, openness, and mutual respect. Motivation comes from autonomy, purpose, mastery, and alignment with the values. Leaders focus on creating an environment where people feel engaged and empowered. So this principle is all about creating an environment for teams to becoming self-managed. That's the ultimate goal. So how we trust our teams within our organization? Do we have an environment of openness, trust, and respect within our organization? That's the key. Ninth principle is about decentralizing decision making. So it's not like a particular group of people or the senior management, they are taking all the decisions. So we need to empower the team so that they can take some local decisions at their team level. That will be very fast, and that will be kind of a faster responses for the end users or the customer. Teams and individual needs to be trusted so that they are empowered to act without any waiting for constant approvals. Leaders can focus on the bigger or long term decisions, And so decentralizing decision making can also make the flow uninterrupted. Sometimes there could be certain aspects in our flow where we are waiting for the approvals. So if we have the decentralization of decision making, that can also help us to achieve a value flow without any interruptions. Last one is organizing around value. So that means if you look at this particular example, it's the concept of the basketball team. In a basketball, we have guards, shooters, and defenders. So we cannot have a team of just the shooters, or we cannot have a team of just the guards or the defenders. So normally a basketball team or the NBA team, it consists of the centers, the defenders, shooters, the point guards, right? So it's kind of a cross-functional team. So structuring our teams or organizing teams and working around delivering value to the customer, not just around functions. So we are not creating the silos, building teams that deliver customer value end to end. And when we organize around value, we create cross-functional teams that own a full slice of customer value. So that is the key. So these are the 10 principles. Now let us understand how we can use a combination of 10 C's in order to remember the 10 safe principles. So the very first one, taking an economic view, can be termed as cost benefit as basis for decision making, or we can say return on investment. Second principle, applying systems thinking, can be termed as complete system approach using systems thinking. Third principle, assume variability, preserving options. We can say change acceptance by keeping the options open. And fourth principle is about working in the small integrated life cycles. Uh, so that means cadence-based development with continuous improvement. Um, Fifth principle is about base milestones on objective evaluation of working systems. So that means concrete progress or measuring the progress based on working system. Sixth principle was about making our value flow without interruptions. So that means continuous value flow. And this is our seventh C. That means cross domain planning for synchronization or one rhythm. That means applying the cadence. And this eighth principle is about central or intrinsic motivation of members. Ninth principle is about consent on decentralized decision making. So consent means agreement, consent on decentralized decision making. And the last one is consolidate around value. So these are the 10 C's of the 10 safe principle. Cost benefit as basis for decision making, complete system approach, change acceptance by keeping options open, cadence-based development with continuous improvement, concrete progress based on working system, continuous value flow, cross-domain planning for synchronization, one rhythm, and central or intrinsic motivation of members, consent on decentralized decision making, and finally consolidate around value. So that's all about today's video. I hope you guys liked it. And if you are new to my channel, please do share and subscribe. If you are liking my videos and they are able to, provide some learnings to you, please do share and subscribe. Thank you.